Hey everyone, welcome back to my number sense series. In this video, we're going to talk about how to multiply numbers that are in the form of 100 something times 100 something. For example, numbers like 103 and 102, 104 and 105, even numbers that are a little bit bigger than these, like 112 and 109. There are similar tricks for things like 200 and something and 300 and something, but those will be for a separate video because they are a little bit more complicated, but once you understand this, understanding those other examples should become very easy. So let's start with this. 103 times 102. Once again, like almost every other trick we learn in number sense, it's going to start with FOIL. And here, we FOIL using the fact that these are numbers that are very close to 100. So we'll write like 100 plus 3 times 100 plus 2. And now when we FOIL it out, first, outer, inner, last, we're going to do 100 times 100 plus 100 times 2 plus 100 times 3 plus 3 times 2. And another way to think about this FOIL is to think of it as area. We know that the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. So we can envision it as a rectangle with, width 102 and length 103, right? And we'll divide it like this, such that we have this segment of length 100 and this segment of length 2, this segment of length 100 and this segment of length 3. And now when we calculate the area of this big rectangle using these 4 smaller rectangles, this is actually equivalent to FOILing it out. For example, this bigger rectangle in here is 100 times 100, right? Well, it's a square, but yeah, it's 100 times 100. Now, this small rectangle on the top is 2 times 100. This rectangle on the side is 3 times 100. And this small thing in the top right is 2 times 3. And you can see that when we add the areas of these smaller rectangles up, we'll get 100 times 100 plus 100 times 2 plus 100 times 3 plus 2 times 3. So let's just add it all up. It's going to be 10,000 plus 200 plus 300 plus 6. And this is going to be 10506. But the important thing isn't knowing how to do really FOIL in your head. The important thing is knowing where the answer comes from. Where do 1, 5, and 6 come from? Well, let's look at the way our FOIL is structured. Where did we get the 6 from? We got the 6 from the last term, 3 times 2. Where did the 3 times 2 come from? It's the last 2 digits. Now, where do we get the 5 from? We got the 5 from 200 plus 300 in our FOIL. Well, where did 200 and 300 come from? It came from, again, our last 2 digits. And where did the 1 in front come from? Well, it came from 100 times 100 because, of course, it starts with 1. So we can kind of guess that the last digit is going to be something like the product. These two are going to be something like the sum. So this is the sum, and this is the product. And this is 1 because it's 100 squared. So let's try to apply this over here. Now, you could expand this using FOIL. So I'll just do it right now, just one more time. If I wanted to expand this using FOIL, I'd do 100 plus 4 times 100 plus 5. Now I'm going to skip a step here. This will be 10,000 plus 400 plus 500 plus 20, which will give us 10920. But of course, if you understand what's going on here, we can jump straight to here using the fact that 4 times 5 is 20. So of course, our last 2 digits are going to be 20. 4 plus 5 is 9. So these 2 digits, digits number 2 and 3 from the left, are going to be 4 plus 5, which is 9, but we'll write 0, 9 because we have 2 digits of space. And our first digit is going to be 1 because it's 1 times 1. Very easy. Now, if you'd like to try this one, you can pause and take a crack at it for yourself. But of course, it's just going to be the same thing again. What's 9 times 8? It's 72. What's 9 plus 8? It's 17. And 1 times 1 is just 1. And this is our answer. This trick is so easy. It's so easy. You just have to add, you just have to multiply, and put a 1 at the start. But I will say, there is one small caveat to this. And if you remember the 11 video, if you remember the 111 video, if you remember the 101 video, there's always going to be that caveat of what if we carry? And like all those other tricks, we will have to carry. For example, 112 times 109. If we multiply 12 times 9, what we'll get is 108. But notice that over here, we've always had 2 digits of space, like 20 and 72 and 06. We only have 2 digits of space for those 2 numbers being multiplied. So what are we going to do? Of course, we're not going to write just 108 at the end. We're going to have to carry. So what we do is, because it's 108, we'll write the last 2 digits. We'll write the remainder, 08, and then we'll just carry a 1. That carried 1 will go kind of towards what we can think of as like the sum part. The sum is 12 plus 9, which is 21, plus the 1 that we're carrying, which is 22. And now this is still 1. And that's how we do that. So again, it's all very straightforward, except with a little bit of a caveat with carrying. Now, like some of our other tricks, like the 111 video, there's going to be some times where they try to disguise what you're supposed to do. Like in 111, they say, we'll just give you a 3 and a 37 and you'll have to figure it out. Here, they're saying, okay, we'll give you some numbers that might multiply to 100 and somethings, but we won't tell you. You have to figure it out by yourself. And that's what we're doing here. We have 3, 9, 12, and 35. Now, you could try to multiply all these together. Personally, I would start with the 12 and the 35, and I would say 27 times, whatever's going on. But there is a better way to do this. And you have to recognize that this can really be expressed in the form of 100 and something times 100 and something. Recall that we can multiply in any order that we want. So instead of doing 3, 9, 12, 35, I could do something like 9 times 35, then times 3 times 12. It's the same thing. So how can we group these to form 100 and somethings in order to use our trick? Well, we have to just kind of look at it, basically. We have to see that 9 times 12 is 108, and 3 times 35 is 105, and that will allow us to use our trick. There's no other way we can really combine these in order to make the trick work, so we'll have to realize this, basically. It's 9 times 12, I'll put parentheses around them so it's very clear what's happening, times 3 times 35. And then I'll just multiply what's inside the parentheses individually. 9 times 12 is 108. And 3 times 35 is 105. And now some of you should be trying to beat me to it. Before I write it down, try to compute it in your head. 108 times 105 is what? Well, 8 times 5 is 40. 8 plus 5 is 13. At the start, I will put a 1. And that's it. Out of the multiplication tricks we've done so far, this is absolutely one of the easiest, but it's also absolutely one of the most crucial. Because not only will they give you problems like 100 and something times 100 and something, you'll get problems like 200 and something times 300 and something, 500 and something squared. But all of those problems can be solved if you simply understand what's going on here. And understanding what's going on here is super easy, and the trick is super easy. So I hope this is helpful to you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.